Hi, it's Megan Boone, and you're listening to Blacklist Exposed on Golden Spiral Media.
Last time I checked, De Beer in Australian meant Foster's. Welcome back to the award-winning The Blacklist Exposed podcast. Greetings, one and all. I'm Agent Troy Heinrichs, and that one was for free because Aaron hates it.
I don't know if you should be ashamed or proud of that joke, but it is special. And I am Agent Aaron Peterson, and I agree. Live like you're dying. That's actually something I hold true to my heart. Always live like it's the last day. Thanks for joining us yet again for the final season of The Blacklist, number 165, The Whaler. It was written by Sean Hennon and directed by Michael Caracciolo, and does not star Brendan Fraser, just so you know. Show notes and other intel for this episode of The Blacklist Exposed can be found at theblacklistexposed.com.
What's that reference? I didn't understand that reference.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't understand The Whale? Brendan Fraser's nominated for
You said it
Oscar?
after Michael Caracciolo, and I was like, what movie did Michael Caracciolo direct that Brendan Fraser was in?
He's up for the Oscar, and hopefully he pulls it in for The Whale. Now. Great movie.
Whaler,
Great
The Whale. I understand. It's early again. It's slow.
Sorry, I guess I should throw a Moby Dick reference in there. Troy, don't be such a Moby Dick.
Which is actually really great because Red's Ahab. I get it. That one I understood.
Dun 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 dun. Dink.
All right. Well, if you're new to the podcast, welcome back. We basically have a pretty simple format. We go through some leftover business from the week before with our profiling question of the week. Then we get into this week's case profile with a small synopsis in case you forgot. And then obviously dig into the characters and their journeys and how things are moving along with some music. And of course, notes from all of you, the fans. So with that, last week we had our profiling question of the week, Aaron, which was...
who's behind the ministry? Because we don't know, is that the actual, organization, or is that the organization? So, or the band. I don't know. Maybe the band's maybe it's actually the band.
Yeah.
They got a great music selection.
They're really pissed off that they weren't chosen by Red and Huey Lewis is getting all the attention.
Exactly. Now it makes sense. Well, 60% said Wujing is behind it. I don't think it's Wujing just because he's too front and center right now. You agree with that?
I would agree with that. Oh, I did like the that they were face to face in this episode. It's a very much like a Berlin situation, sitting on the bench in front of Coley Island. I thought that was kind of cool.
It was very Casino Royale. The only thing we didn't have a scene of Red getting his balls whipped though, and that would have really helped out.
That would have gotten past standards like so quickly. Not. It's on the Peacock after show.
It's a great scene. Casino Royale. Little to the left. All right, 20% said Sia. I don't know. Could be Sia.
Could be.
I'm telling you, she's gonna have a badass moment, and then she's gonna walk out and just be like, "See ya."
Yeah, especially
you got to.
Especially this. I mean, she was pretty badass in this episode, so I could see where she could have a little bit more conniving way about her.
I like her a lot. I think she's great so far, but we'll talk about her here a little bit more soon. And the rest were a mix of old Blacklisters still alive with Vanessa Cruz leading the charge.
Vanessa Cruz was a fun one. It'd be good to see her back.
So what are we going to ask for next week?
I think we're going to say, will Red meddle further in Agnes's life?
Straight yes or no question, huh?
Very simple. The answer is no, Red. No.
Stop being creepy, hanging out her
you
soccer
try to
game.
help dies. So just let it be for a change.
Never seems to learn that lesson, right? Smart guy. Never learns.
Never learns. All right. Well, before the river crushes our hopes and dreams, let's flush out this week's case profile.
Jesus Christ. Did you go to like a dad's joke seminar before this episode or what?
That's pretty proud of that one.
Well, don't worry. Red's holding all the cards.
Yep. There you go.
Jesus. All right. Well, a casino head notices that Anika De Beer, God, I can't get that stupid Foster's joke out of my head, is setting up games for people who do not exist. And he is not happy. So when she's close to being ratted out, she threatens him, puts her foot on his throat, and he gets the message. Threatens him to not reveal the info, and he's like, all right. By the way, she's played by Lucy Taylor from Leverage Redemption, if you ever watched that.
Yeah, it was great to see her in this. That was an awesome open. Totally thought that, super badass.
She was badass. So we come to find out that Red explains this Australian woman, well, she's known as the whaler. What she does is she pulls in high rollers to casinos. And she'd do anything to get whalers to the table, but she's also working with Wujing for some reason. And the Crown Rocks in Sydney is where she is gathering the biggest whales. So I guess before we get into the rest of the overall plot, before we get into characters, what'd you think of this concept? I actually thought this was a really fun episode. Much better than the premiere, honestly.
Yeah, much better than the premiere. And it felt like this was back on par with the type of Blacklister we would have seen in ages past. It was unpredictable because we didn't know exactly how she was tied to Wujing. It was also unpredictable in what Red wanted to get from her. So there was enough keeping you on the hook for the entire 40 some minutes to say, like, how is this really going to play out? And then the twists and turns, obviously, when Red's like, I have a backup plan, and then shows up and then he's there at the game. And I'm like, man, that was pretty good. I like the change. That's pretty impressive. Just balls to the wall. Like, I'm going to get a seat at this table, whether you like it or not, De Beer.
I'm going to get a seat at this table, whether you like it or not. I'm coming. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. I know this was really fun, even though, it's definitely a Casino Royale homage or whatever. But, I love poker. I play poker a lot, so it was fun to watch, even though I totally guessed exactly how the card game was going to run out. Like, literally, I guessed 3 aces and the flush. Totally guessed it before any cards were laid down. I am so proud of that. Either I've watched way too much TV, I've played way too much poker, or a combination of both.
I was hoping it was going to go the other way until until Wujing showed the cards and he had an ace. I thought Wujing was going to have the flush, and then Red was going to come up aces like Maverick and just throw the last ace on top of the pile for the 4 of a kind.
Yeah,
I thought that would have been awesome.
I just had a gut feeling how it was going to go. Because, can't have a full house because full house beats flush. And I just felt like Red's got to win this one.
Oh, yeah.
Got to take that money.
It seems weird to me that 3 of a kind aces, like you could have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spades, and that's a flush. And that beats 3 aces. Like, that just always seemed weird to me.
Why does it seem weird? They're all the same suit.
Yeah, but they're all like small cards. It's like,
yeah, but they're all the same suit. It's all the winning pairings or winning selections are all based on odds. What are the most likely or unlikely to get? That's how you determine what the higher.
I know. I'm saying
hand
like
is.
Getting 3 aces, I would think would be much harder than getting 5 of the same suit.
But you would be incorrect. Getting 5 cards of the same suit is very, very hard. I played a lot of poker, man. I've gotten 3 aces way more than I've gotten a flush.
Really?
And a straight flush is near impossible.
Straight flush,
a royal
is
flush.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a royal flush. Never.
Right.
Very disappointing. Let's just talk about that because there's so many times I really should have. Like, I've been 1 card short, and I'm not Red, so my cards don't always come up perfect. I've lost some money. I've lost a few mortgage payments. No, I'm kidding. I don't bet that much.
Yeah,
I'm on like $5 games, $10
We're $10 limits.
Yeah. If you lose your house at a $10 limit, you're just doing everything wrong. That's really what it is. Let's play for pink slips.
That's right. Take a Millennium Falcon.
All right,
well, that's the end of the day.
We run into Spencer Waters. He arranges some big money games, and that's where we have to make a splash. And that's where Red calls in his favor, his Huey Lewis connections, and gets the Spencer Waters, which is funny. We're still using the Huey Lewis connection.
Actually, I normally I would have said that's kind of a lame tie-in, but I have to appreciate the fact that they went to the well for that one and brought that back in. I thought that was pretty funny, actually.
Oh, that was great.
Like when Huey Lewis comes in, you're like, okay, I understand they're doing this for Glenn and everything, and it's fine, but it seems a little bit of a stretch to have Huey Lewis in the show. But then when they can tie back to it, it's like, oh, okay, like he's actually part of the universe now, not just a one-off thing.
Yeah, he's definitely part of the universe for sure. Oh man, so I think it seems like a wrestler's going to be the guy at the table. I didn't think that at all because I kind of get where Red's coming from. He's too Boy Scout. I don't think he can bluff like that.
Yeah, people can read that he's an FBI agent from the minute he walks in the door.
Yeah, his hair never moves. That's Typical FBI right there. It's FBI gel. They actually have that hair product is actually assigned to FBI agents.
Yeah, available at your local Target.
You have to have a badge to actually get it. So we go with Sia. She gets into the Whalers game pretty quickly. She's obviously, who's never played poker. Let me just tell you, if you've never played poker, I don't care how good a bluffer you are. You're not going to win that big money the first time out. But, it's TV. We got to get this moving.
But she also,
but
that guy was pretty much an ass too, though, that she was playing against.
Oh, the one who called her short stack?
Yeah, a little overconfident.
I like when she threw that in there. I thought that was a nice biting joke. Well, she gets in there and she wins and gets into the big game. That was a fun way of kind of learning her and how she's playing it. I like how she's very, very, she keeps her cards close to her vest. She keeps her facial ticks to a minimum. She's very much just paying attention to the game. And that is a pretty common card trick to let other players win a couple rounds so you get a feel for how they play. That is a very normal card playing stand. I have actually played in Vegas, so it's not like I've only played $10 games. That's pretty common, and she does a great job with it. I really like her. I think she's really already fitting in, which is pretty great when it's only 2 episodes in.
Yeah, I think she captivated this episode pretty swimmingly.
Yeah, she's pretty. I said that.
And I love that they just kind of threw her in there right away, not having her be like behind the desk and the thing. She becomes like the Aram backup because she's obviously really quick on the keys. She's actually like a full-fledged agent. And I think it shows that Wrestler's underestimating her a little bit.
He's already given her the wrestler eyes, though.
Honestly,
can
we just get that out of the way right now? I don't know if it was...
I think he wants to.
I don't know if it was me. I don't know if it was me. The writing was really great at the end of this episode. It's like they're writing all the sexual tension jokes in there. But this is the most like on-screen chemistry Wrestler has had with a co-star that it felt like, man, I really wish these two would hook up. Because it's like,
ooh,
like I never
hot take from Troy.
I never thought that Mojan and him were like the thing. I never thought like Megan and him were it just enough. This felt like energy.
Felt more like friendly, right? It never really felt hot.
Yeah, this felt
sexy.
This felt at the end of the episode. This felt hot.
The sad part is he's probably looking at her like a daughter figure.
Sadly, yes.
I'm still trying to figure out how Malek's daughter could possibly be this age, but whatever. It's working. It's working. I don't think they're probably not going to go to that well. I mean, they went to that well a couple times.
They're not.
I don't see them
going to
do
go there.
No.
But
the tension's there. I agree with you.
Like
but he's a good looking dude. So I mean, it's not like Cooper's going to be throwing the vibes out to this young girl. So Wrestler's the obvious one.
Yeah, but she was like, I think it was the fact that she's holding her own, like against him. She's just like, yeah, don't underestimate me, jackass. And I was like, ooh, sexual tension right there.
I gotta be honest, I found her more interesting in this episode than Wrestler. I thought she was captivating the whole time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm glad she's part of the team. And I'm sure we'll talk about her a little bit more in a little bit, but I'm sure she's going to have more to do with the season than it seems like. Because it's very, very, I want to wait until we get to the characters. So let's go to, Sia gets into the Whalers game quite quickly. They're made fast. I mean, like, as soon as they get there. So this is a worst plan ever. It's what I'm getting. But they quickly realize what's going on, though. This is a payout. Wujing is trying to get his money washed. He's trying to get it cleaned, is what he's doing, in an untraceable way, because he's on every radar there is. So he's just trying to win it through poker, and people are throwing the games and just giving him money until Red gets there. This is an easy way to clean the cash. So once Red shows up, and of course he has the cards in his hand, he gets the flush and he beats him with 3 aces. We hear that they're always the right ones. The cards are always the right ones in Red's hands, except unless you're Liz Keen's spinal column, obviously. I'm just saying. And Wujing eventually catches up to the Whaler. So that's the overall crux of this episode. So how do you like how it played out? I mean, I really dug it. It's kind of a shame the Whaler got killed because I liked her.
Yeah, I thought maybe Wujing was actually going to be onto something when he said like, oh, like there's the payment I was supposed to get in the $6 million in diamonds. I thought maybe they were still going to work together a little bit, but unfortunately they pan out and blink, blink.
Never see a body though. You don't see her die.
So when they do the flash for the guns, is that like somebody's iPhone in the car and they just like turn the camera on and off?
Yeah, they were actually just taking pictures. Yep. Like, quick, get in this one. Deuces. What? That's what it was. Anyway, overall, this plot, I liked it. It was an interesting Blacklister. It was fun. There was some action, but more suspense than I think. I really thought the premiere was just okay. Sorry. This was a good episode. I really enjoyed this. We got a lot more red too.
And I think the big thing about this one is that we can bring back old Blacklisters, but we can introduce new ones at the same time. I think people were concerned that it was just going to be Wujing conclusion, Sinclair conclusion, Cruz conclusion, right, for the whole season. This was interesting to say, hey, there's still more people to flush out the top 200. Let's flush them out and go from there.
I'm going to laugh every time you say flush them out. More card jokes, even if they're not intentional.
All right. Well, why don't we take a turn into characters then, Aaron?
Yeah. Let's head to the club. So the music, that's you.
Oh, I suppose I do the music. Yeah. So
do we even know what we're doing anymore? Are we just winging it? We don't know what we're doing. It's crazy. It's chaos.
Yeah, I'm just trying to call your bluff. That's all. I'll
see you in a minute.
The music for this week, we did have a song when they were playing in the pregame. Sia there is trying to suss out the guy across the way. We do hear the song Chess by KS Rhodes. And of course, you can hear that song and all the great music of the Blacklist on the playlist, both Apple and Spotify. You can get those over on the website. Links there at theblacklistexposed.com.
All right, characters. This is where we dive into individual characters. Dunby didn't get much to do. Didn't get much to do this episode.
Well, yeah, because when you only have 3 agents, 2 have to go in the field and 1 has to stay back.
Right. Wonder what's going to happen when Aram comes back. What are we going to do? Does that mean we have to kill one of these guys?
No.
All right, Cooper. Cooper's pretty mild on bullies. He thinks Agnes needs to work this issue out herself, where this girl is just pushing her around the soccer field, and apparently the coach is nowhere to be found. Like, are you on this team at all, coach? I mean, you see the girls like going at it. Why don't you go break it up? That's literally your one job.
Also, there's like the entire team is on the field, and it's just the 2 of them in the shot when she's getting pushed around. It's like, where's the rest of the teammates?
They're watching, man. They're filming. They got their iPhones out. You just can't see them. They're on the sidelines.
That's right. It's this generation. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They don't get involved. They just take pictures of it.
Right.
You know, when we were kids, we saw bullies and we just go up and be like, hey, knock it off, man. And nowadays kids are like, oh, get your camera out. Film this. Put it on TikTok later. Well, he wants to handle it his way, but of course Red can't let that happen.
I like that. I like that Cooper hung up on Red too. That was fun.
Yeah, it was kind of snippy with him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was just done with. He's like, hey, I'm in charge of this girl, so stop thinking that you're running the show. You're not.
I mean, he could have basically said, your daughter was killed, so stop messing with my daughter.
Ooh, could have thrown some shade that way. I know you know what's funny is, for as much as Cooper seems to understand how much he loves her, he never seems to ask the question why he loves Agnes so much. So you got to assume either he understands the truth, or he's just not caring what the truth is. Is that about right?
That's basically what Liz said.
Yeah. Okay. But that was fun. It was good to see. It was good to see Cooper's fatherly side and him mentioning that I've raised 2 kids. I know what I'm doing. You know, I've done this right. Maybe I know what I'm talking about. I like that. I don't know if it was intended to be shade, but it came across very shady, and I liked it.
It was very much shade.
Okay. It's like, I know what I'm doing. None of my kids have been killed by a bullet in the street, just so you know. That's how you should have said it, but whatever. Theoretically. Yeah, but I like that back and forth, and they still are on the same page. They want what's best for Agnes at the end of the episode, so. Which
is cool when he shows up at the end of the episode, like right behind him. I was like, oh, look at that. Cooper knows exactly what Red's game is now.
Yeah.
Maybe she has some security, Red.
Wrestler, we get some feelings from him, you know, and he is more believable as a bodyguard than a poker player. But he does say he mentions to Sia that Red, you don't understand what you're getting into. There's no line he won't cross. I saw this job tear down the woman he loved very, very much and see his mother. He's very, very protective of her. So how do you like this side of Wrestler? So Wrestler is very much still not on Red's side.
Which would make sense. I mean, he's always been the one chasing Red, even 8 years prior to, him coming and joining the task force. So I think he's still grieving Liz in a lot of ways in this case. So he's like, yeah, don't get enamored by the shiny object. Just keep your eyes open. There's more to be seen here than we're actually letting on. I don't know if it's an overstep though. Like it feels like, I'm the lead partner of this task force. I used to run this task force. Like I'm going to tell you what to do. Kind of machismo feel to him also, rather than trying to come across as like the caring agent, older brother feel. So it kind of could play both ways here. I don't know.
So even though there's chemistry, you're still saying, nah, they're not going to do anything with it though.
That's your opinion. He could be a complete, Bluto, I guess would be the best way to put it. Right.
Yeah.
Kind of being and still have sexual chemistry. And then he could also be the caring white knight, Prince Charming, and still have chemistry.
Sure. One thing I think is worth mentioning now that we're talking about Wrestler is there was an interview for TV Line, I believe, and showrunner John Eisendrath was asked about Wrestler and where he's going to end up, and somebody was asking about his
sexual proclivities.
Yeah, and maybe he'll get a love interest that doesn't die, and Eisendrath says, season 10, should we change things that work so well so far? Oh, poor Wrestler. But then he added this tidbit. What I would say about Wrestler is he was on Red's tail 8 years before the pilot started, and he will be the last man standing when it comes time to determine Red's fate at the end of the season. Ooh. Last man standing. So that sounds like we might get some character deaths in the season. Big character deaths.
No, all that says...
I'm not saying that
all that says
means,
is that Wrestler's like high-fiving Red at the end and giving him a key and letting him drive off into the sunset.
I could see it. I could see him, doing the Vic Mackey where he lets him live a miserable life so he can wallow in self-pity kind of thing. I can also see him setting up to meet his end, but I think once he sees and understands the connection between Red and Liz, I think it'll be hard for, my opinion, Wrestler to do anything.
I think Wrestler forgives him in the end.
You think Wrestler kills him?
No, forgives him.
Oh, forgives him. How do you forgive him though?
He's like, oh, I misunderstood you this entire time. I understand why you did what you did. Like, sucks that it ended the way it ended, but I get it.
That'd be interesting. We'll see how that goes. I'm really curious. I think, have we ever taken a vote? We should probably take a vote. Will Red live or die at the end at some point? Because, that's a question we'll ask soon. Not yet, but soon. Because we want to know where the schedule is going to work. Is it next fall? Is it this spring? When are we ending this thing?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, he's going to die. Because if you keep eating things like peppery goat breast, I mean, it's not good for the cholesterol.
What was that thing called again?
The peppery goat breast.
Peppery goat breast.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat that, but I also kind of do.
I mean, it's just, it's like veal in a way, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, back to Wrestler. So sees,
wouldn't that just be goat ribs at the end of the day?
Yeah, it would be. It would be. There's not a lot of breast there. So he sees Zhang Wei, I think I got that right, case in the place, and Wujing is here, obviously. And then you get the stuff where chemistry pops up, which is lines like, you can watch my back in the field every day, where all I hear is Barry White. I just hear Barry White in the background in my head.
Yep.
And then, of course, the end, welcome to the team. See ya. I'm still going to lose sleep over you.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, that can go either way. I felt like it's very much, Kevin Costner bodyguard vibe, but yeah, you can go either way with that one. Wrestler. You nasty.
He's nasty.
You nasty. Wujing, not much really with Wujing. I mean, we kind of got that he's trying to get his money clean so he can really start this war. What I thought was funny is while he's with Red, they're not talking about why he hates him so much. Like, they're not really just discussing.
You mean they're not asking the questions that you're supposed to ask when you're in these situations? Kind of like Liz and Red sitting together.
Yes. It felt very Liz-like, didn't it?
It did.
Like, why are you not asking questions like, So here's what I know, blah, 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 blah. And Red's just implying you don't know anything. And I'm kind of wondering, maybe he doesn't know anything. Maybe all he knows is that he was a turncoat. Maybe he doesn't know the actual secrets. You know what I mean?
Very possible.
Is that possible?
At the end of the day, Marvin wasn't hell-bent on destroying Red. He just wanted the business. So
Sure seemed like he was hell-bent on destroying him when he, brought his whole world to a crashing halt.
As the season went along, like his motive originally for getting Liz out of the way was to protect the business, but he's also still sees Red as his best friend in a way. It was a very struggle for him as that season went along last year until the very end. So yeah, he doesn't want to necessarily out him as who Red actually is.
Right.
He's just like, hey, by the way, guys, if you want to kill this MFer, then guess what? He's been working with the feds, and here's how you here's how you need to go.
All right. Well, back to Sia. She is a keen asset, huh? She's a keen asset.
So bad.
Stop it.
So bad.
Who lost her whole team to Wujing, and apparently already knows how to work that magic tech board we were talking about. She said this is a professional relationship to her. Nothing more. That's what she says to Red. And you can tell in that moment that Red doesn't trust her. He thinks she's the best bluffer because of what she's saying there. So do you believe that it's just a professional relationship to her?
No. She's got a motive. She has to have an ulterior motive.
She wants revenge for her mother. That's all I see.
And literally sitting right across the table from her is the guy who was responsible, ultimately. Not that he pulled the trigger, but Berlin's...
Seems to be a lot of that in this show that nobody acknowledges. I mean, yeah, he's also responsible pretty much for Liz. He's responsible for a lot of people that have died. Tom.
Well, Ian Garvey was really the one that killed Tom.
But if he would have just came clean a long time before that and cleaned a lot of the wounds, I think this wouldn't have been so bad. You know? I know nobody wants to assign blame, but, like Red says, why do I always gotta be the bad guy? Because you are.
That
you
line
just are. People forget.
Funny too.
Yeah, I like that line. I did.
It's like every
says
well, that one's like every fight you have with your spouse, right? You're like, fine, sure, I'm the bad guy, whatever. Blame me. I'm sorry. Kind of had that vibe, like him and Cooper fighting.
Talk about some chemistry, huh?
Those two, like, just hear me out. Grumpy Old Men.
Okay.
Grumpy Old Men remake with Harry Lennox and Red Reddington.
I'd watch it.
Totally watch it.
That'd be fun. Sia says I'm not reckless, and I want to shout out Anya Banerjee. I want to make sure I said her name correctly this week because I said it wrong last week.
So did I.
I think she's doing a great job. Welcome to the team, and look forward to what they do with her character going forward. Red, we're to Red. He's on a pilgrimage, won't stop until he tries it all the food, street food, and he orders like everything. But he's also talking about keeping a lighter footprint. Not if you're going to order like 3 things, man. Sorry, that's just not how it works. So is it to protect others? Suicide mission? What's going on with the lighter footprint? Even though he still has a private plane.
Yeah, and driving himself around in a car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like maybe he realized finally at the end of the day, it wasn't really his fault that killed Liz, but his stuff that led to the death of Liz at the end of the day. And he's just like, maybe if I distance myself from everybody, then nobody else will get killed. So maybe he's actually finally wising up to the situation of like, oh, maybe I'm the one that's at fault here. And then you realize, well, no, because you're just back at it again at the end of the episode when you're like, I could help Agnes. I could protect Agnes. And I'm like, no, you can't.
Just can't stop yourself. Yeah, I'm still wondering exactly where he is. And it seems very much like he wants to take Wujing out and then be gone. I feel like he's okay with ending at this point. He doesn't seem too concerned with legacy anymore.
Right.
Because he doesn't want Agnes to take on this legacy. He just wants her to be safe.
Yeah, no envelope notes to Agnes.
Yeah.
I'm your grandmommy. Here's the farm you can have with sheep on it.
Yeah. Here, I'm going to give you Dembe's planned retirement since apparently he doesn't want it anymore.
Well, he's got the federal, pension.
Might be better. Government jobs, man. All right. Well, Red and Sia, I think it's going to be a bigger deal. We already talked about that, and kind of we'll see where that goes going forward. The Huey Lewis connection, we talked about that a little bit. So Agnes having some trouble with a bully at school. You know, it makes a great question, which I love this question because it's very applicable to kids. What happens to kids that make them this way? Yeah, parents, man. A lot of times it's just parents.
Yeah,
parenting.
This one was a very profound statement, and I'm really impressed that the writers put this one in there because it's something that I think a lot of people have to think about in certain generations. I think there's like the millennials that feel entitled, then there's the group behind them that feels like the world is just not going to be there for them, and then there's the group behind them that I think are finally the ones that are going to fix it all. Yeah,
I mean, there's no real answer. I mean, a lot of it is insecurity. It's because they feel emasculated in their own house, so they go to school and they pick on a weakling. You know, I mean, bullies come from all shapes and sizes. Usually it's they're dealing with some internal struggle and they take it out on someone they know they can take.
Yeah, and it really is parenting at the end of the day. If parents are absent, parents have to work 2 jobs because, you know, obviously It's very hard to like stay ahead these days with inflation and whatnot and all that stuff that's going on. But it's been that way for a while. It's been, you know, parents are just absent in the kids' lives. I mean, teachers, I have a friend that's a teacher. And she like went on a whole rant on Facebook about how, you know, they expect the teachers who literally after all of the required classes, right? Gym, art, science, whatever. There's like only like 3 hours left of the day of core curriculum. And the parents expect them to teach them about all this other life stuff at the same time. The life stuff is your job as a parent. So if you're a parent, like get with the program, be present in your kids' lives.
It's wild. Yeah, there's no one answer either. That's the sad part. You can't really just figure it out. It's a lot more complicated than just figuring it out.
Especially your kids that were kids in, you know, middle school, high school during the pandemic. I mean, it's like the formative years of shaping who they are as people. Sure. You're going to have to do double time of effort with those kids.
Absolutely. Well, Red handles this and he didn't threaten a single person, which was kind of surprising. I really thought for sure he's going to beat the shit out of Phil and Justine Rutherman, but he doesn't. Instead, he gets him a better job, which doesn't that encourage bullying? I don't, I mean, basically the family's getting a sweet ass job for their kids bullying. I don't know if that's the right answer. I feel like you don't want to reward that behavior.
Well, he kind of threatened the boss man though. It was like either relocate these guys or
he kind of paid him. He paid him. He's like, here, this is for you. And he's like, all right, it's for you. What do you want?
Yeah.
He just wants to relocate him. I don't know if he really threatened him. And it just, I don't know, man. I don't like that answer. I don't like bullies. I think bullies are the weakest of all people. Anybody that picks on someone lesser than them, to me, is the lowest form. I don't care what your psychological issues are. You're a prick. So, yeah, if I'm talking to you, if you pick on people, you're a prick too. Sorry. I don't like it. I don't like being rewarded for it. So I had a problem with that one. I'm like, I get it. You're trying to protect her, but giving someone whom probably the daughter learned bullying from those parents, getting them a perk is not great.
Right.
But whatever.
At least Agnes can be a starter now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just keep taking out families until she makes starter. That's how you do it. Yeah. That's how you move your kids up. Don't teach them to work harder or be better. Just wait until we take all the families out of town. All right. Well, at the end, Red says, you know, what if I want to protect her and make her a safe, happy young girl? Which, okay. Stop it. You're bad at this. You are not good at protecting people. You just aren't. Some people aren't good at things. They shouldn't do them if they're not good at them. You know what? I can't fix a car, so I don't mess with my car because it'd break down, and then I wouldn't be driving anywhere. Every time you want to protect somebody, they die. Stop it. That's all I have to say.
I said that earlier.
I'm saying it again, even more passionate, because my God, stop trying to do it.
Just no. Walk away.
Jesus. But then Cooper finishes with, I thought it was a great line. They grow up to be whomever they're going to be. And as a parent of 2 kids who are fully grown, that is absolutely correct. You can do and say and think you're doing everything in the world, but ultimately they have to just be the people they're going to be.
Right. They step out when they're 18 or 21 or 22 or 26, whatever it ends up being. And their decision after that is their decisions.
Mm-hmm. And they get, if you taught them, if you gave them the tools, you just have to go on faith that they're going to utilize them. Doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. Sometimes there's stuff that you didn't even know about was an issue. You can't pick everything out. Just do the best you can. That's all you can do. Love that. Very profound.
Unless you're red, then just don't do anything.
Yeah. Maybe if you're red, just stop doing things. Just stop even trying to help. Let that kid, slide into oblivion and crime and whatever else, and then be there. But just stay the hell out of the way.
Watch the posted videos on Facebook when all the aunts and uncles post stuff, and just eat your goat breasts and be fine.
Stop ordering three numbers though, if you really want to leave a less of a carbon footprint. All right. Or just a footprint in general. All right, I want to take a second to say thank you to those of you that are supporting the show by going to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/theblacklistgsm. Special big thanks to our honorary Blacklister, Patricia. Also, special shout out to our task force members, Marilyn, Cindy, James, Jens, Joanne, Johnny, Justin, Karen, Catherine, Sharon, Lacey Ann, Vanessa, Emily, and I think that's it.
I think you got them all. The
official task force members. Okay. And all those people receive cool gifts from us. And you can get a cool gift as well if you donate at the $20 level or higher. You can get a cool t-shirt or a coffee mug. And this is the last season, so it's the last time you're going to have a chance to get it. You don't have to stay at that $20 level forever, just a few months to get the cool gifts.
I mean, if you want to keep giving Aaron $20 for his retirement fund, then he'll still give you a t-shirt or coffee mug.
I'll take it.
He'll say Aaron's best friend.
I will.
All right. We have some changes to the $5 level because the $5 level, you are going to be able to get the podcast earlier than everybody else that gets the podcast. So if you want to know and be in the know before the rest of the world, $5 at Patreon. That's patreon.com/theblacklistgsm. Click the $ in your podcast app and fill the fedora to get some awesome rewards for yourself and musings from us from time to time. But stay tuned. We got much more show coming up right after this.
Hey there, fellow podcast listener. Do you love video games but are tired of the negativity surrounding most podcasts?
Why not give the Gaming Outsider a try? We set ourselves apart from other video game podcasts by including our community in the discussion on games as much as possible. And hey, we'll never charge you to be part of the show.
We pride ourselves on being an inclusive, family-friendly show while discussing industry news, the games we've been playing, and a weekly topic centered on gaming both new and old.
So check out the Gaming Outsider at the same location you're listening to this fine program, or check out our website, thegamingoutsider.com. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.
All right, Special Agent Intel. This is a lot of thoughts from last week's episode from the premiere. We got this episode out a little fast. We don't have anything on this particular episode, but we'll have intel for next week. So here are some of your thoughts from the fan community. Angela Raven. Nice episode, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is definitely the same Chuck we've had for years. Damn it, Troy. Same Chuck.
I get Chuck and Morgan confused because it's always Chuck and Morgan. So.
Also, I don't think the ministry they referred to was a big bad criminal organization. I think they were referring to a government diplomatic outpost like Ministry of Trade, that kind of thing. Could be. We'll find out for sure. Chen Yao works at the embassy and was letting Wujing use the embassy's resources, but he's not supposed to. I imagine China disavowed Wujing once he was arrested by the FBI. Good
Makes
points.
Sense. Makes sense.
Still think the ministry could be the ban, though. Just saying. Don't rule it out.
Kimberly Torma said, I like the suggestion that Raymond Reddington employed Sinclair to make him a doppelganger to show Red out and about with no guards.
Yeah, I really wish that would have been the case.
Well, I mean, we don't really know. We don't really know, but.
Well, sure. Yeah, because he didn't speak to anyone. He didn't speak to Aram.
Right.
Yeah.
He looked his direction, but.
Sure did. Didn't speak.
Yeah.
Don't speak. I know just what you're thinking.
Oh my God. No.
Sorry, I got off on a tangent. Also, a nice note from Catherine. I am so excited that the Blacklist is back. The podcast is the best part of the show. I agree. Tell NBC that. I didn't start watching till season 4. I binge watched seasons 1 through 3 and found this podcast not too long afterwards. I then binged every podcast you guys have done. Holy shit, Catherine. You're my hero. I did a rewatch before season 9 started, and I listened to every podcast again. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate you both so much. Much love to Troy, Aaron, and all the Blacklist Exposed fans.
Okay, she gets a bedazzled t-shirt.
That's awesome. You know who she didn't thank or give love to? Tom, because he's still dead. Thank you, Catherine.
Oh my gosh. Listen to the podcast through twice. And Aaron knows I like myself. I don't even want to do that.
I like myself. Sometimes I just listen to my dulcet tones.
Oh my gosh. Eric Howery said, I have been here since the beginning. Troy and Aaron, glad the podcast is back. No, I do not miss Tom or Liz, to answer your question.
I miss one of them. I bet you can guess which one. And also, I have not been here since the beginning. So that's funny.
That's true. That is true.
I came in season 2. They needed they needed to reload. Troy needed to reload. He's like, I need someone that's going to insult people and me and the characters and then make fun of things. And here I am. You're welcome. Elsa said, so glad to have you back, Troy and Aaron. I'm ready for another whirlwind of a season. Oh, we're on for a whirlwind, man. I like this one a lot better than the first episode, though. So I'm jazzed now. Before I was like, I hope this gets better because this is the final season. I want some crazy shit to happen. And now I feel like it's right on back to regular Blacklist.
Yeah, keep this momentum going and we'll be in good shape all the way. This was the show that we wanted last season. Great job. Episode 2. But we'll have to come back next week. And we still don't know if it's a split season or if it's all going to air by May.
And I won't be here next week because I will be at South by Southwest. So I will miss next week's episode. But I will still watch the show and find out how good it is. Promise. Okay, well, that will conclude this discussion. Now's the time to recommend the Blacklist to your friend, enemy, or neighbor. And when you do, please also recommend they listen and subscribe to the Blacklist Exposed podcast. All the case profiles can be found at theblacklisexposed.com and everywhere great podcasts can be found.
You can also follow Aaron and myself over on the socials. I am at Troy Heinrichs. He's at Aaron Smirks. Together, we're at the Blacklist GSM. You can go ahead and share your thoughts on what you thought about this week's episode, and we will definitely share them next week on the podcast when we return.
All right, big thanks for listening. Don't forget to answer our profiling question. It's very yes or no. Will Red meddle further in Agnes's life? ... and probably get her killed. You watch. She's going to get assassinated by a soccer ball. That's what's going to happen.
It's going to be the final shot of the Blacklist.
Just a soccer ball going right for her head. Cut to black. It's going to be Soprano style.
Oh, and then it'll do that like that in loving memory of Agnes or something. Or no, it'll just be Agnes missing in the milk carton. It'll be the last.
All right, that's it. Take care, guys.
See ya. Until next time, I'm Agent Troy Heinrichs. That's at Troy Heinrichs on Twitter. And if you want to learn more about me, just visit, about.me/Troy Heinrichs.
And I'm Agent Aaron Peterson. You can hear me talking about movies and TV on the Hollywood Outsider podcast, as well as Remake This Movie Right. We are available at thehollywoodoutsiders.com or on Twitter at 5popcorn. Be sure to subscribe, download the app, submit your feedback, but most importantly, keep yourself off of
the Blacklist.
The Blacklist Exposed is a Golden Spiral Media production. Find more of our great podcasts at goldenspiralmedia.com/podcasts.